Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the ML Scholar and today we'll be analyzing Zunobia. Now if you have seen my Zunobia skills reveal / mini analysis, I did say that as soon as Zunobia skills are out, the stats are out, I will make an analysis video on her. I did not recommend a specific moveset because I really wanted to see the damage output and the cooldowns of each skill before I recommended you any of those skills. So those are out and it was a good choice because I think I have shifted my opinions right now as of seeing the skills and stats. But before I get into that, I would like to add in something new as well. Yesterday we all discussed that the limited time path monster in this maze is gonna be Dracor, but now a news is out that there is going to be another limited time monster, basically Zorgon. Now if you know Zorgon is a magic attacker, but a lot of people are speculating since the information about the other maze monster isn't out yet, which is the lizard guy, everyone's calling him that, isn't out yet. So they believe that there will be actually two mazes, each 1 week long, and at first there will be, in the first maze there will be Zunobia, and the other maze there will be another monster. And there will be two limited time monsters basically. In Zunobia's maze there will be Dracor, in the other maze there will be Shade Moon. So that's an interesting theory. Let's hope that is right. And if that's the case, Zunobia and the other monster are going to be pretty expensive as well. So a lot of people are going to be losing sleep to get those maze coins in. Now that's out of the way, I would like to jump back into Zunobia's skills and stats. So if you look at Zunobia's life, it's 34,985 life, which is actually pretty good for an attacker because it's not normal. It's not the normal life for an attacker. Usually attackers are around 28,000 to 32,000, but this is a good life for Zunobia. Now as for the power, is 3,729, which is actually a pretty great power, and is pretty close to Hyperia's power, which was around the 3,700s as well. And as you all know that Hyperia is basically the strongest monster in the game apart from Radar, which Radar no one uses. So yeah, Zunobia is basically an attacker, so Zunobia is going to be a really good attacker as well, and the speed is really good as well. Usually these kinds of speeds are expected for deniers, but 3,509 is a really good speed for a attacker. Then we have Zunobia straight. At rank 0 she will have tough. That means she will have a 35% less accuracy against all the negative effects and control skills, so that is a pretty good skill to have at rank 0. And at rank 1 she will be immune to blind, nothing too special about that. And at rank 3 she will have a status caster True Vision. Now this status caster coupled with some of her attacks will make her a pretty damn good attacker, because Zunobia is an attacker and if her skills land on all the enemies she'll be dealing a lot of damage. At tier 1 we have Duck Hunt, which deals moderate dark damage to one enemy, applies guard down to one enemy, applies bulk positive to one enemy, and requires cooldown. So this is basically the skills group 1 skill. Usually these kinds of skills are expected in skills group 2, but this is pretty impressive for a skills group 1 skill. Moving on, we have Ernie's Punch, applies a damage boost to itself, removes 25% total life from all enemies. Now Zunobia, in my opinion, is a mega taunt killer. Now the reason I'm saying that is because most people nowadays are using Megaton monsters. Either it's Mephisto, either it's Dunn, or either it's eisul after the last maze. Now this skill removes 25% life from all enemies, right? What Megaton monsters do is they attract all of the attacks towards itself, meaning that they take the 25%, then another 25%, then another 25%. So in total they'll be losing 75% of their life, and Zunobia will be getting a damage boost to himself. So in the next turn you could just basically wipe out the Megaton monster. So this is a pretty damn good skill as well, and it is 0 damage and it's 1 cooldown, so it really won't be affected that much by cooldowns activated as well. So this is a pretty good skill, and this is basically a modified version of Ragnarok's Death Door. Moving on, we have the Falcon of Lombardi, deals moderate special damage to one enemy, applies protect positive to itself, applies major damage reduction to one enemy. So nothing special about that. It's a 0 cooldown skill. If you want to run this, you could run this. In order to remove positive effects when you are against cooldowns activated monsters, just Timerian and Sunblast. In tier 2, we have Wings of Ziz, deals very heavy dark damage to one enemy, applies curse to one enemy, applies guard down to one enemy. So this is a 55 damage single target attack with 1 cooldown. So nothing too special about this except that it deals 55 damage, which is a good damage output. Then we have Sparrow Princess, applies spears to itself, deals massive special damage to one enemy, applies poison to one enemy, removes spears. Now this is a skill that is amazing, and it will, I believe, if you're running with her with a good amount of strength runes, she will just one hit KO a monster out completely, because this is a 65 damage output attack and it is a 2-turn cooldown skill, and it applies spears, meaning it will get through evasion, it will get through megaton, it will get through area dodge. And so basically this is a single target killer. If you have a Rimlad against you, if you have monsters that have Elvira's evasion, if you have a Ragnarok with evasion, if you want to get him out, get rid of him, this is the attack you are going to run. And because of Pierce, this attack is really good and it deals massive damage. So yeah, that's a pretty good attack. Then we have Saved by Thorondor, deals moderate special damage to one enemy, applies evasion 2 turn to itself, and applies stamina regeneration to itself, and gives 1 extra turn to itself. Oh my god, deals moderate special damage to one enemy, applies a 2-turn evasion to itself, and applies stamina regeneration to itself, and gives 1 extra turn to itself as well. So basically this gives you an evasion. Now this 2-turn evasion skill is basically to cover up for your turn after the extra turn, because after that evasion will be basically useless. Now this could come in handy when you're going up against monsters that have the shock ability that will basically block your extra turn, so you'll be protected from their attacks. For example, Gord, who does area shock at the start of the battle, you could basically avoiding his attacks with two of your turns, so that is a pretty good skill, as well as it deals 30 damage, so it's a damage dealer as well. And on top of that, it gains itself stamina regen, so you could do this in a pinch and be saved. Then for tier 3, we have Villain for the Earth Bomb, applies spears to itself, removes 50% of total life from one enemy, applies a positive effects block to one enemy, and removes spears from itself. Now this is also a skill that can come in very handy against the Megaton monsters as well, because it removes 50% of the total life from the enemy as well, and also blocks positive effects. So this will basically stop the Megaton monsters from applying Megaton or damage mirrors to themselves, which can come in very handy, because Zunobia is an attacker, and if the Megaton monster has a damage mirror, it will reflect all of the damage right back at her and will eliminate her, like for example eisul and his skill. Then we have Rest in Peace Bloodwing, deals moderate special damage to all enemies, applies poison to all enemies, applies major damage reduction to all enemies. Now this will deal moderate special damage to all enemies and apply AoE poison as well, and is a 40 damage AoE, and also applies major damage reduction, so this will significantly reduce the damage output of the enemy monster. Also, this skill will land at the enemy monsters guaranteed if you have Zunobia at rank 3. Moving on, we have Garuda's Ascension, deals moderate dark damage to all enemies, applies curse to all enemies, applies guard down to all enemies. Now this skill is really awesome as well. Now the reason why this is awesome, because it deals moderate damage, moderate dark damage to all enemies, right? Which is a 35 damage AoE, which is not that powerful, but it is still strong if you have good strength runes on her. Then you apply curse to all of the enemies. Now the curse, as you know, deals damage over time, and it gets more powerful each for every successive turns, so this is a very good status effect as well. Then on top of that, you're applying guard down to all enemies. Now if you do not know what guard down does, guard down basically makes all of the attacks land on the enemies, so this is a pretty good skill as well. And then we have the ultimate skill of Zunobia, applies spears to itself, deals very heavy special damage to all enemies, applies protect positive effect to itself, and applies evasion to itself, which is a 60 damage AoE, and it is pretty good as well. It is a good ultimate. Now some of the skills that I would recommend are obviously Garuda's Ascension, which is obviously very important if you want to land all of those attacks. Then I would suggest either running Villain for the Earthworm or the skill in tier 1 if you're gonna go for those Megaton monsters. Then Saved by Thorondor, which deals more special damage to one enemy, applies a 2-turn evasion to itself, and applies stamina regen and gives 1 extra turn to itself. Or you could also run Rest in Peace Bloodwake, or if you want to go for the the Sparrow Princess, which is a massive special damage skill, you could also go for that. So you could keep on alternating depending on the situation. Now what I really like about these new monsters are the skills group 1 and skills group 2 skills are basically not usable. If you looked at monsters from 1 year prior or 2 year prior, you could only use the skills group 2 or skills group 3 skills. What I like about the newer monsters is that you can basically alternate depending upon the situation and the monster you're facing, which basically puts in a strategic point of view into the game, and which I really like. So Zunobia overall is a great monster, and two things I forgot to discuss of this monster are relics and books. So for the relics, obviously she has a sword and an essence. Now for essence, you could go for any of the healing essences, that will be very good, or you could go for the Uriel's essence, which is pretty damn good as well if you have it, because it will basically revive Zunobia after it's been taken out. And for the sword, you could either run the Cain sword or the Jakugan sword, which also deal damage. So after you deal damage with Zunobia's stack, your relic could trigger and take out all of the enemy monsters with some more damage, or they could remove the stamina like the Oblation sword, I believe. Then for the book, she is in the females book, the spirits book, and the good legions. Now what I find really strange is Zenobia basically has wings, and her attack has wings. So what I don't understand is, being a bird, why isn't she in the winged book? So this is really confusing, but again, that's SP logic for you. So yeah, that's it for the video. Let me know about what you thought about Zunobia as an overall monster, and will you be going for her, and also about the two maze theory, because we have no information about the other monster in the maze as well. Also, I would like to shout out the Art of Gaming, who's been a really good friend to me, and she makes videos about Roblox, and she does frequent giveaways. If you play Roblox or you just wanna see how Roblox works, so go check her out. Her channel link will be in my description and in the previous videos comments as well. She's really great, go check her out. And again, thank you for watching. Peace out.